how the students automatically guided, even if you don't provide them with specific problems or topics?
Yes, that is a very good question, Heather. So essentially how the algorithm works, and I think I have a slide here that might explain it a little bit better. So let me go here really quickly. So your child is playing the game by default. They're obviously getting math questions. So the first thing that they do in terms of the curriculum is the placement test. After they complete the placement test, which typically takes like 1 to 2 sessions, it's not a set number of questions that are in the placement test. It could be 20 questions, it could be 50 questions that they have to answer. It depends on how far they're progressing through the curriculum. Then they're put on that adaptive path, and that's where we adapt. The way that the assignments come into your question is the assignments take precedence over the other two things. So if you have an active assignment, there is no way to avoid that. And that's also the first questions that they see the next time that they log into the game. If you don't have an assignment, that's when they go back to kind of the adaptive path. So that is how the curriculum works. A lot of parents use the assignments as kind of sneaky assessments for your child. So they don't know that they're doing the questions that you have assigned them specifically. There's nothing to indicate to say, hey, your parent has given you, 10 questions on fractions, but that is the first 10 questions that they will see when they get onto the game. And after that, they just move back to where they left off on the adaptive path. Hope that helps answer your question. Awesome. Fantastic.
Cool. Well, we really want to give you guys a little space to ask more questions. And I don't know if you feel comfortable turning your cameras on and asking us, or if you want to put them in the chat. These questions are so nuanced and so dependent on individual children. Is there anyone who wants to troubleshoot and bounce off ideas with us? Okay, if you're trying to get up your courage, I actually have some of your, okay, oh, yeah. Okay, so Heather mentioned a new science path. Do you want to?
Yes, that's a great question. So, science is a brand new subject that we've added. So, to be honest, it is a little bit less of a fulsome curriculum versus our math curriculum. For math, we have almost every skill, grades 1 through 8 for the math curriculum, and it is a member-only feature. So, if you are a premium member on Prodigy, you can get access to the science curriculum, and when you log into your student's account, it'll ask you if you want to learn math or science, essentially. And if you say science, you'll be able to get the science questions within Prodigy there. And then Kara asked, does it matter what grade I technically label my child with initially? It does, because that gives us a bit of a starting point. So when we do our placement test, we actually consider that grade, but we don't take it, as a concrete kind of line in the sand. So what we do is we actually start with questions a couple of grade levels below to see if your students might have mastered those already, or might still be having difficulty. And then we try to work them up to the grade level that you've selected. And then we try to work them even a little bit beyond that to see where the right place to start them is. And after that, obviously, the adaptive algorithm takes over.
Yeah. So,
Um,
is there a benefit to increasing it once they progress to a new level? Or, for example, a child who's really gifted but might have some gaps in what they've learned before, what would you recommend?
so Kara, if you're talking about the grade override, that's a little bit different than what I described. So there is an option to override Prodigy's adaptive algorithm on your parent dashboard. And what that does is it essentially just keeps your students on that grade. So if you apply a grade override of grade 5, they're only going to get grade 5 questions. We don't put them up to grade 6. We don't pull them down to grade 4. That's all they get. And that's kind of like you just want them to work on grade 5. So you've specified that. What I had referred to earlier on is when a child first comes into the game, we ask, what grade are you in? And they can select grade 3. And that's what's the starting point for a placement test. So I would actually recommend not using the grade override if you want our adaptive algorithm to take over. But if you really specifically want them to work on, only grade 6 questions, then you can use that grade override.